Hey guys, what's up? TheRiaya here with part 2 of the UHD computer build for my friend. If you missed part 1, you can see it up here. And now we will continue on with the actual software installation and what is required in order to play full 4K UHD HDR on your computer. So let's go. Before we begin, there are two things I wish to go over. First off, being the fact that this video has ended up being so late, and it's due to real life things going on and the fact of health complications going on with me. There's not much I could do about it, I'm sorry. The other one being the fact that my friend updated her drivers on this for like her graphics cards and things like that, and I managed to hose the 4K. So in itself, with having to wait a while before doing this, it kind of is a good thing because you can see actual complications that can arise, but that'll be discussed at the end. Let's go over the primarily how to set up the software and to get your 4K UHD playable on your machine. Now, in order to get this working, we're also going to be looking at the hardware as well. The first thing you're going to need is an Intel Kaby Lake or later CPU, so the upcoming Cannon Lake should be supporting this as well, of course. Just make sure that the motherboard also supports these capabilities as well, as you will need something that will have the full abilities with HDCP 2.2. I would like to assume that Cannon Lake would have every single motherboard supporting it, but don't think of it that way, so make sure you double check everything before moving forward. My friend wanted a small form-fitting computer case so that she'd be able to just move it around kind of easier to get it places, so we went with the ASRock Fatality Z270 Gaming-ITX/AC motherboard, which works really well. But I did go onto their website to make sure that the BIOS was updated, and they had an HDCP 2.2 update for the firmware on the HDMI port itself. Just in case, even if it supports it, make sure on the motherboard website again that there aren't any updates that you need to go through in order to get it fully working. Another thing you're probably going to have to do is go into the computer BIOS itself and enable the SGX technology. This will allow your CPU to talk basically with the program itself, Power DVD, and allow you to play the 4K content in order to decode it. This is a hardware encryption that you cannot get around. You have to have this on your CPU/motherboard in order for it to work. At the current creation of this video, Power DVD 17 is the only software available that will play UHD 4K content. They also have an advisor for you to download and to test your system to make sure that it is fully capable of playing 4K UHD. If your system has any issues with it, then it will actually tell you what you need to do to get it up and running. After installing the latest Intel graphics driver, make sure that you go and download the Intel Management Engine software. The link is provided below, or you can Google to find a newer version in case they have made a new one since this video came out. After you download and install the Intel Management Engine and run the advisor again, it should show it as a pass instead of a not available. Then it will allow you to download the SGX technology software that will be required for Power DVD 17 to play the 4K UHD content. Once you are done with this, you should be able to run the advisor one more time and see everything as a pass. If there are any issues, then you're going to have to go back and try to fix them in general. I'll get into those in a minute because I actually had to go through that myself. And this is leading to the final part of the video where I was saying that I was having issues with my friend's computer. So let's start getting into that, I guess. So when I got my friend's computer back to make this video, as I stated before, when I loaded it up, it would not play properly. I don't know why. There was something that was, as I stated, borked. And I had to go through and mess with it to get it up and running. At first, it was showing that the graphics weren't working properly, so I figured I would just do an update to the Intel-based graphics. I figured that would be the solution to the problem. It wasn't. So I ended up with, as it shows here, having everything here not working properly. Even though the SGX was enabled, the technology was installed, the management engine was there, It just would not work properly. What I ended up doing is uninstalling everything, that including using the display driver uninstaller. I made sure I had the most recent Intel Management Engine software, and then, like as I stated before, it allowed me to re-download the SGX technology and install it onto her system. After having it completely cleaned out and reinstalled, it was able to work again. So very basically, once you get this system fully set up, if you don't want any hassle or headache, I would actually recommend just using the graphics drivers there are. Don't update the Intel-based graphics on there. Now this pretty much wraps up this video, except for one other side note, and that is if you're using a discrete graphics card like an NVIDIA or an AMD-based graphics solution. As it currently stands, from my understanding, neither of them fully support 4K UHD. If you try running the Advisor while under an NVIDIA card or an AMD graphics card, you will see that the Advanced Protected Audio/Video Path GPU does not pass. And if that does not pass, that means you will not be seeing any of the video that is being played. Hopefully this will be updated in the future where the cards will be able to do it, but as it currently stands, that is not possible. So if you want this to be a gaming rig also, like my friend who has a MSI, the Gaming X 8G 1070 graphics card, you will need to use 2 HDMI cables and enable the multi-GPU on your system in order to play the 4K content. This is, of course, if you're using your TV as your main gaming station, as my friend is, so she has to switch between inputs whenever she wants to game or play 4K content back and forth. If you're using an actual gaming monitor, and then the TV, of course, separate from it, I don't see it being as much of an issue or a hassle of going into the display settings, but for her, it's a little bit of a hassle because she has to swap between the two, of course. I think this wraps up the video. I want to thank you for coming and actually spending the time to see how to get fully UHD set up. I hope this helps somebody, especially if you have problems after the fact and updated your drivers and ended up somehow borking it yourself. So hopefully this helps you get that fully fixed up and running. And as it stands right now, hopefully Kaby Lake supports HDCP 2.2 out of the box with every single motherboard, and some of this you won't have to worry about looking through, and it all works great. So like the video if you like it, dislike it if you didn't, leave a comment below if there's anything you want to say, and if you're not subscribed, I hope you liked what you saw. You're subscribed. Those who are already subscribed, thanks for supporting the channel, and I hope to see you guys back for more.